So PPA hires me. I'm a contractor. They hire me for Imaging USA to be the official event photographer. My first PPA was the first one I shot.
What's your last name, by the way?
Arnett. No one knows that because they
I said Alex, the photo guy.
From commercial real estate to award-winning photography, Alex Arnett, better known as Alex the Photo Guy, brings spaces to life with his creative vision. With over a decade of experience, countless clients, and travels to 60-plus cities, he's the go-to expert for architectural and interior photography.
It's like vinyl records.
Yeah.
They don't realize that the quality of the audio file you can extract from that is way better than any MP3 or whatnot. But it's just perspective that the old is perceived to be less than, but it isn't.
All the new digital I love Fuji and I shoot Fuji. They're chasing what it used to be.
How many pictures are you taking per day?
I really wished I'd done.
Alex.
Yes.
Thank you for joining the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
You're Alex the Photo Guy. Is that what they
am.
call you? Why
I am.
is this? Why do you have this nickname?
15 years ago, I think I shot my first wedding and just running around. They're like, "Oh, you're the photo guy. What's your name?" Alex. Yeah. And it just stuck. Bought the website back in 2005 or something like that.
Now is there a persona now here? They know you as this.
Yeah.
What do you do at PPA, man?
So PPA hires me. I'm a contractor. They hire me for Imaging USA to be the official event photographer. And this is my, I think, 12th year, minus the COVID year. And 12-hour days, but it's just fun.
Get to meet a lot of people.
Oh yeah. Get to meet a lot of people. Everybody's always happy to be here. I tell people this is the only conference you go to where someone's boss didn't make you come. You want to be.
That's
here.
true. Yeah.
You're super excited. Everybody's always smiling. As an event photographer, it's awesome because they want their pictures taken.
Of course.
And no one shies away from the camera.
How many pictures are you taking per day?
It's like shooting a wedding every day. I'm shooting 2,500 photos a day.
Are you using any kind of AI tool to go through that, or what?
I wished I'd started. No, I've started. I've started using a Photo for some of the headshots I do, but I really wished I'd done Imagine for I wished I'd started Imagine before I got here.
Really?
But Capture One, and I'm just flying through. And usually, what's nice is during the expo, I'll get a break for an hour, dump a memory card, and just fly through. Be real selective on my picks. Because they want them same day, which is nice because that means by the time I get home, I don't have any editing left to do.
There's a lot of companies here. Imagine, is it? Imagine?
I asked them. They said they go by both. I was like, is it Imagine or Imagine? They're like, we'll answer to both.
Okay, whichever brings the customers in.
Right, yeah.
After Shoots obviously has their own thing with calling and etc. My God, I would go insane if I had that many pictures. I think I did weddings for a bit, and I do remember those days, but
just flying through.
Oh my God, you obviously have a system. You're like, all right, I know what to do. I know how to do this. I know what's going to be good.
Yeah,
that's great.
I know how to call very quickly from something like this.
That's impressive.
And I know generally all the people. I know who they want to see, what they want to see.
Yeah.
Smiling faces, holding the magazine, speakers talking to people, board members talking to people. Kind of thing.
You've definitely worked out what actually is well received and not well received.
Yeah.
Outside of PPA, what's your passion, man? What do you like to do?
Well, for work. It's funny when they hired me back in 2013, I was shooting a lot of weddings and events. And since then, my business has totally transitioned to where now 80% of my work is actually commercial architecture. So totally different. And with that, I'm shooting with the Canon R5. The architecture work, I'm shooting with the Fuji GFX. And on a tripod. It's also worked well because around that time we started having kids. Now I can be home most nights. I'm not usually working weekends. It's 9 to 5 when the weather's nice. My wife will be like, "Oh, I had a really shitty meeting and really stressed out." And I'm like, "Yeah, tell me about it. I'm waiting on this one cloud to move, and it's just not going anywhere." Man. So yeah, it's a pretty good gig.
What was the last time you done a personal project?
Probably kid stuff. I love shooting film. We had if you can call it, I wouldn't call it a project. It's a good question, but the things I get excited about, a couple weeks ago in Atlanta we had snow, and I got out my medium format. I've got a Pentax 645N. And got some really fun snow pictures with T-Max 400 black and white. And every time I get those back, I love all of them. There's no culling.
Yeah, they're so special.
Yeah.
I had a Pentax. I can't recall which one it was in undergrad. All I remember is how it felt to use it.
Mm-hmm.
You pulled the trigger in that thing. It was like a gun. Crack.
Yeah.
And it's just the mechanics of what they did back then, because that was from the 70s, I think it was. But to be able to capture the image, and the image was beautiful. Medium format. You scan that thing and you dust it and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
The image I got was absolutely gorgeous for something that was from the 70s.
Yeah.
And we're always chasing the newer and the greater,
Right.
mirrorless and whatnot.
Yeah.
When it's like vinyl records.
Yeah.
They don't realize that the quality of the audio file you can extract from that is way better than any MP3
Right.
or whatnot. But it's just perspective that the old is perceived to be less than, but it isn't.
All the new digital I love Fuji, and I shoot Fuji the medium format and their smaller format. They're chasing what it used to be.
Is that what you think it is? Is that what we're trying to do?
For that feel, they've got all these film recipes and simulations that are all wonderful. Because I had one of my favorite cameras I have is I actually have my grandfather's Leica M3 that he bought in Cuba. My mom's family's from Cuba.
Okay.
And he bought it before they emigrated over. My uncle gave it to me about 5 or 6 years ago. It even came with like the original like U.S. Customs declaration cards, like the lens and the
Wow.
camera. And I posted some pictures on Instagram years ago, and a friend was like, these pictures that you just shot and posted, that's what so many people are trying to capture with all the digital film recipes and everything like that.
You mentioned your grandfather, obviously artistic bone in the family. So he was photographing in Cuba?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That time period was such turmoil because they went from one to the other to the other.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine what kind of photographs he captured.
I haven't seen many of them. I need to hit up my my aunts and uncles to see what they've got. But yeah, their story, he bought that Leica M3 because he saw James Bond. That was his camera.
Nice.
So he bought it maybe a few years before, and then they came to Miami thinking it was a vacation, and they ended up staying forever.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this for like 12 years. When was the last time you actually enjoyed PPA as a guest?
My first PPA was the first one I shot.
Yeah.
There are times where I'll get into class and I'm like, man, I really want to sit here for this hour and 15 minutes and watch this class, but I've got 2 other classes to cover. And so every year I toy like, maybe I'd come as an attendee, but I still have fun no matter what. I learn, so much of it is about the networking, the people you meet.
Right.
I've made so many friends here. I have almost no photo friends in Atlanta where I live, but I've got a lot of friends nationally from people that I've met here and keep in touch with, and, see them post a good image on Instagram and, make a comment and like, hey, how you been? What's new with your studio? That kind of thing.
You're based out of Atlanta.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your last name, by the way?
Arnett. No one knows that because they tag
I said Alex, the photo guy.
It's funny because I've got a different brand for my architecture
Yeah.
work, but all the captions, like when they put the photos in the magazine for advertising for this, it's always Alex the photo guy. It's Alex Arnett.
I felt like I needed to do justice. I'm like, hold on, we gotta find him because
Appreciate it.
he needs a last name less. I hear you in Tampa. I don't really have a lot of Boo-Ray is the only one.
Yeah.
Outside of that, everybody else is in Orlando, on the opposite
Mhm.
side, and then everybody else that I met here. Tell me, from the architectural side of things, what is
Mhm.
one of the most interesting or peculiar type of photo shoot that you've been asked to do?
For architecture, I don't know. The most recent things come to mind. I had a client that, most of it's commercial, so I don't do a lot of residential work. Mostly office buildings, some industrial apartments, things like that. I had a client that bought up a bunch of like old bank buildings in small Midwestern towns.
Nice.
And they wanted me to go out and capture them as they are because they're thinking about converting them. It's like, small downtowns are kind of dying. They're trying like, can we convert these to apartments?
Yeah.
And it was just a fun project this last summer because I went to a lot of places that I don't normally go to because I've got, I'm lucky that a lot of the places I go are Seattle, Denver, California, that kind of thing. But this was like I was in Lincoln, Nebraska, and Cedar Rapids and Des Moines, and I love exploring new places, especially places I wouldn't normally go. So just doing those kind of projects. One of them was a bank building that was built, I think it was like they started it in 1928.
Wow.
And they ended up, because the Great Depression hit, they literally stopped building the building halfway through the 5th floor. And so the building was shaped almost like an L because the Great Depression hit, and they were like, we can't finish this floor. But the building itself, you go inside and it's all beautiful marble bank building, like really, really beautiful old architecture that you don't see anywhere.
There's obviously a plan to build something grander than what it was. But
Yeah.
what's there is grand in itself.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, I'm trying to get a lot of these before they close because they'll
Yeah,
kick us out in like 30 minutes. They'll be
Kick
like,
me out whenever you
get
want.
out. I'm curious though. What is one being in this industry, being in the I guess the trade show side of the world?
Mm-hmm.
What is one thing that from when you started here and now you understood it back in the past, but now you see it much clearer? A common misunderstanding or perception of the PPA or the trade show world?
I don't do a lot of trade shows. This is kind of my one big one that I do. And again, it's super fun. With PPA, I think that they've done a really good job. A lot of times, and I'm guilty of this too, I'm a PPA member. I don't use nearly nearly all of the things that they offer that are super helpful.
Yeah.
You know, I think they started offering the insurance like 6 or 7 years ago, but now I just discovered today, like I can replace my existing, general liability insurance that I'm paying. I think it's like $700 or $800. I could do it through PPA
I learned that
for a
last
couple
year.
$100.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing. And then all the education that they've got. There's just so much stuff that like when I go home, the trickiest part for me as a photographer, not just the event photographer, is having all this inspiration, all these great ideas, and then going home and like really trying to digest it and like implement some of that throughout the year. Personal projects and photos that I saw were really inspirational, that kind of thing.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's just so much to this.
It's a lot to take in. Like I come down to the expo floor, I'm like, like at home, I was like, I need to get this, I need to buy something. And I get here and it's just, there's so much to choose from. You forget.
I have not even walked. I walked a trade show, like just scouting people, right? But I've not had a chance to get like stickers or anything. No swag.
I'll bring you some swag.
I would appreciate that. I appreciate some anything. Like
Bring you some stickers and pins or something.
anything at this point. No, it's great. No, I really am glad that we've been trying to work and get this going because you're running around and you're going crazy. Yes. What do I have?
It's a stress ball.
Competitor. I'm looking at them right now. They're right there.
Like you go to the trade shows and sometimes it's like you get 30% off is the best deal you get, and it's usually for a light stand or a modifier.
Yeah.
They've got some incredible camera deals. I just bought a new Fuji camera I'd been looking at.
30% is 30%.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Alex Arnett, where can people find you online?
Alex the Photo Guy on Instagram, as you can expect. And my architecture website's APG Photography. That comes from Alex Photo Guy, apgphotography.com. I just redesigned my website, so I got a lot of new photos on there.
Awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah,
I know
man,
you
this was
are
great.
busy, man. So
I'm just glad I got to squeeze in your schedule.
Good deal, man.
Yeah.
I'll see you around. I'll see you tonight.
Yeah.
And I'll see you at every probably PPA.
Sounds great.
All right.
All right. Thanks, man.